Okay, so we are all the way up to chapter 12, and I think, as a couple of people have mentioned already, this chapter was a little intense. I think that these concepts make a lot of sense. I've known that you can do these things, but it's kind of hard to execute them at the table without practicing them a lot. So hopefully we can get some insight from other people about ways that you can work on this if you're just starting to practice it. And I think Nook said something earlier about there's a lot of information that you can pick up and infer, but figuring out what information you can safely not worry about is also pretty important, so you don't feel overwhelmed. So that's something maybe we can kind of keep in mind as we're talking about this. So last week we talked about this from the declaring side of view, where we're trying to figure out what the defenders are holding. And this side week we're switching back to defense, and we're going to be figuring out how this works from the defending side of view. How can we figure out what's hidden in the declarer's hand? And so if you're seeing card play technique discussion for the first time, we have been working through the book Card Play Technique, or The Art of Being Lucky, for, I think about 2 months at this point. I have recently started putting them up on YouTube, so you can find the past discussions there if you look for the Dirtler Turtle Bridge on YouTube. We usually spend about 4 days. It's been slowing down recently because I've been picking up with school, and then we have discussion happening on Discord. So, okay, last week we said was all about counting. The big thing that you want to be doing as a declarer is counting out the hands, figuring out the distributions. And the exact same thing applies when you're on defense. You've learned a lot about the declarer's hand from the bidding. There's also, so you want to make sure that you're counting out the strength of the declarer's hand as you go through the hand, as you're going through the play. This is going to give you a good chance to figure out how much strength they could have left. And once you find out that they've kind of reached the maximum of what you expect them to have, anything that's left over is probably in your partner's hand. So it's going to be really important when you're on defense to be counting out how many points the declarer shows up with. So coupling along with that is you want to be thinking about what the declarer's hand could look like very early. You want to be thinking about this often, and you want to be updating your picture as you're going through the hand. So you probably want to make a rough guess at the beginning based on what you've learned from the bidding, and then by the time the first couple of tricks have been played, it's you usually can get a good grip on what's happening within the hand, and you have better information about the shape. And then following along with that is you want to be trying to figure out what does the declarer need to do in order to make their tricks. Can we anticipate what the declarer has to do? Can we figure out what their plan is by making different switches, by let's see, by what they bid, by the cards they play, by the order in which they play their cards. All of those things give us information and insight into what the declarer is trying to do, and we can read that information and use it to our advantage. One other thing to keep in mind is when you're playing through the hand, if you're making up visions of what the declarer's hand could be, but it relies on them having a lot of cards in a suit that they didn't say anything about, that's probably not right. You shouldn't expect the declarer to have a whole bunch of length, so 5, 6 cards in a suit that they didn't tell you anything about. That's not always going to be the case, but it's a good rule of thumb when you're trying to figure out what's possible and what's not possible. And then the last thing is you want to, when you're on defense, this is especially important, you have information that your partner doesn't have. Your partner has information that you don't have. The two of you together need to communicate through your signals and your discards to help each other learn the information that you have that the other one doesn't. Help your partner read the hand. Give them good signals. Make your discards constructive. Give them good count. Make sure that they can figure out where they need to go next, so that shortly into the play of the hand, you have a really good idea of where the distribution is, where the points are, and what the declarer is trying to do. So a lot of this stuff seems relatively straightforward. It's things that I've known that you can theoretically do, but again, I think that putting these things into practice, it can be a little bit difficult. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. Okay. Oops, that's not gonna work. Give me a second. Okay, I think if I hang out in this corner for the rest of the day, we will be able to see all of the, oh, Nope, go back. If I hang out over here, we'll be able to see everything that I'm doing in the rest of the presentation. So these examples involve kind of a lot of information that we're trying to process all at once. I'm also probably going to stumble through them a few different times, but I'm hopefully we can all work together to get there. So let's take a quick look at the bidding here. Our opponents have East opened up with 1 spade, then West comes in with 2 diamonds, then 2 no, 3 spades, 3 no. This is an older bidding system, so we have to be a little bit careful about how we interpret things. But we can expect from the way the hand has been set up so far that East probably has 4 or 5 spades, likely 5, with them starting off from this. Then West showed up. They didn't immediately support their partner, but they did show up with 3. And then East decided that they wanted to play in 3 no trump anyways, despite the fact that they probably have a spade fit. So, and East knows if they have a spade fit, but it's a 4 or 5 card major. The book did say that this was a 5 card major, so let's assume that that's the case. But I think for a lot of these hands that it's not always possible to assume that. So just from the bidding that's starting with, we know that East is promising a heart stopper. They have to with that 2 no bid. They also probably have club stopper. And then they are also deciding that they'd rather play in no trump over playing in spades. So they probably have like good hearts, good clubs. The overall strength of their hand is probably pretty solid. So at trick 1, we go ahead and make what seems to be kind of the obvious lead. We start from the top of our honor sequence and we play out the 10. Our partner shows up with the ace of clubs, and then they lead back the 2. The declarer shows up with the king, and then they lead out a heart. So we kind of have 2 questions that we need to address right now. First is, how many clubs do we expect partner to have? They led the ace and then the 2. And then we have to figure out, like, why is the declarer switching to hearts? They know that they have this good spade suit, so what could the declarer be holding in their spades that they didn't actually want to just go ahead and play them out right now? So let's think about that club question first. We showed up with 4 clubs in our hand. We can see 3 in the dummy, and then we need to figure out if partner has 2 clubs, 3 clubs, 4 clubs. They probably don't have 5. But they could. I mean, they didn't really get a chance to bid them until the 3 level. But actually, we know they can't have 5 because the declarer has shown up with 2. Sorry. There's that counting thing that comes out again. Partner can only have 2 clubs, 3 clubs, or 4. If they had 4 clubs, that would mean that they also have to have the jack of clubs. We know that because if they have 4, that means the declarer only has 2. And that we've seen both of the declarer's cards, they're the 5 and the king. If partner had the jack, why would they have played the ace at trick 1? They would have taken the finesse against the queen. They wouldn't have shown up they wouldn't have played that up immediately. So it seems pretty unlikely that partner has 4. Is it possible that partner has 3 clubs? Well, if partner had 3, they come up with the ace, and then they're looking at their hand, which is probably too small. You know, it's almost certainly too small. And would they play the 2 from their 2 small cards? No. They want to play the high card back to us. So it seems also unlikely that partner has 3 clubs. So that only leaves one possibility. That means partner has 2, and the declarer has to have 4. And since partner showed up with the ace-2, they don't have anything left. That means that the declarer is going to get to take the queen and the jack of clubs as well, in addition to the king that they already took. So now we have to figure out, why did the declarer decide that we could go ahead and switch to hearts? We know that they have 5, like they have a good fit in hearts probably. Like the hearts, they have a good fit in spades. They're either, the spades are like 5-4-3-1, or they're 4-4-3-2. Why wouldn't they try and clear that out? They have like the king queen over there, like what's going on? If we assume that they have 5 of them, If they were missing the ace, like we know we don't have the ace, so like maybe partner has the ace of spades, it would make sense for them to just go ahead and attack the spades, clear that out. They know that that's a place where they have strength, they can see it. So it seems likely that they probably have the ace. And if they're gonna show up with 5 cards, then they probably have to have like the ace jack 10. They probably, or like, yeah, ace jack 10. They have to have like, or they could have like ace jack 5th. Like either way, they're going to have enough strength in their hand. They're going to have all the top honors, and they're going to be able to strip out like anything that we have, anything the partner has. Essentially, they have the spades completely locked up. There's no reason for them to attack the spades. So that gives us only that doesn't give us much left. So we kind of have this diamond suit, and then we also have the heart suit. So we know that, so let's think about what the heart suit actually looks like. We know from the bidding that the East has to have good hearts. They probably have, they have to have at least a stopper. And they probably have really good stoppers, because they didn't, they could have played in 3-no. They could have played in 4 spades, and they decided that they wanted to play in 3-no instead. So my guess would be that they have like King Queen X, like King Queen 3. We can see from like what they're playing out at trick 3. I think it's probably unlikely that they have King 3rd or Queen 3rd, and they were willing to play in 3-no over playing in 4 spades. So if we think about everything that we've learned so far, we know in the spade suit they have 4 or 5 spades, probably 5. We know that they showed up with 4 clubs. And then we're also pretty sure that they're showing up with 3 hearts. That's 12 cards, which means they can only have 1 card left in the diamond suit. So, if we're looking at our hand, we've already taken 1 trick with the ace of clubs. We're gonna get to take another trick with our ace of hearts, and then we're hoping to take 3 more. Now that we know that the declarer has probably only 1 diamond, they have 1 diamond, and we also know that they have all of the hearts blocked up. They probably have King Queen. The absolute best thing for us to do at trick 3 is come up with the ace of hearts, slam down our king of diamonds, and then play a diamond to partner. We get to lead through this the position in the dummy. Partner gets to, and then partner gets to take the rest of their diamond tricks. So we end up taking a heart, we take a diamond, we take a heart, we take a club, and then we take 3 diamond tricks. We play the king, then we get to take 1 off of the finesse, or if they come up with the queen, we cover it, and then we still get our jack. And that ends up setting the contract. So the key here is like after a couple of tricks, we're able to get a really good count on the hand. We're able to figure out where all the how many clubs the declarer has. From the bidding, we got a pretty good guess on what the heart situation was, and then from there, we were able to, and we also see the spade situation from the fact that they didn't switch to the spades at trick 3. Once we put all of those things together, you're able to figure out that it's imperative that you come up with this, that you come up with the ace of hearts here. Prove me wrong. Partner returning the 2 of clubs with ace jack 5th diamond is a blunder. Declare rebidding to no with 5-3-1-4 is a blunder. Not disagreeing with you. Yeah, I thought that it was a little yeah. So in the book, like, this is like one of the examples. And I thought that it was weird that they just tell you right out that this is a 5-card spade suit. But I also think that like it doesn't make sense for them to switch to hearts unless they have the spades like locked up like that. Should the declarer have 18 to 19 points for the 2 no bid? No. That would only be if West had made a 1/1 bid. And because West has made a 2/1 bid, like they've bid at the 2 level, then the 2 no doesn't have the same implication. The jump to 2 no doesn't have the same implication. They play a heart because hearts are their weakness and want to discourage you from playing hearts upon winning the King of Diamonds. Interesting. Yeah. This is kind of like, I think you're bringing up a lot of really good points, Nook. I think there's a lot to be gained by like taking the concepts that are in this book and then updating them with some more modern examples. I think like we're kind of left grasping at straws with some of like the decisions made in these bidding sequences because the book was published for the first time in the 1950s. But and these past 2 chapters in particular, since they rely so much on understanding what's happening in the bidding sequences, it can be pretty hard to understand like what's going on here. But yeah, these are a lot of really great points that I had not particularly considered. Like if you only have a singleton diamond, why in the world are you insisting on playing a no trump over your spade suit? Like that doesn't make any sense. Okay. We're going to let that one fly and then move on to the next one. Okay, so this one, the bidding is a lot simpler. Each just preempts 4 hearts and calls it a day. So at trick 1, we go ahead and lead off our singleton 5 of spades, and the jack of spades holds in dummy. The dummy then leads back a trump, and our partner somehow manages to show up with the ace of hearts and then gives us our ruff. Yay, partner. So we've got 2 tricks so far. We need to find a way to get 2 more tricks. Hopefully our ace of clubs is going to give us 1, so we need to figure out how we can get 1 more trick. So let's think for a second and figure out what we know from the bidding and what do we know about what's happened from the first couple of tricks. It depends on if it's match points or imps. If he has the diamond ace, imps probably shouldn't risk it. Yeah, so the book is written from a rubber bridge perspective, so it's all about total points. So I'm not sure if that's closer to imps or match points. Okay, so from East bid with 4 hearts, we would expect them to have at least 7, probably 8. It's closer to 8 imps. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense with all the safety plays and things like that we're discussing. Okay, so that 4 hearts preempt from East should probably be at least 8 hearts. It could be 7 if they're like a really good 7. But you know, without even the ace, like I'd say that it's probably closer to being. It's probably more likely 8, right? So then on trick 1, we come up with our the jack ends up holding. And then partner leads back a spade, a low spade, at trick 3. So we know that East probably has 8 hearts, and then I guess our big question is how many spades does East have to have? Well, I would say that they have to have at least 3. That's because we still haven't seen the. Is it a low spade? The 2 of spades is missing. I just meant that it's not the king. Like, if partner had the king of spades, then they would have played it here. Right? Or, like, if partner had the king of spades, it would have shown up on trick 1 or trick... they would have played it already. Like, I guess they could have been trying to get real tricksy with it, but, like, you can see the... Yeah, so we know that East has to have the king of spades. And they've also shown up with 2 other spades, so that means they have to have at least 3 spades in their hand to go with those 7 or 8 hearts. That does not leave very many tricks Um, that does not leave very many. That does not leave them very much in the other two suits in the minors. So they can only have they could have 2 or 3 cards in the minors at most. So our big question here is, what do we need to do at trick 4? We've managed to get our ruff. We have to figure out how we're going to get 2 more tricks. We can slam down the ace of clubs if the declarer has 2 clubs. We play down the ace. We take our trick. We play another one through, and then if they have the king, then we didn't do anything. We didn't manage to take 2 tricks, and there you have the rest of the suits probably locked up, and there's not going to be anything we can do. If they have... so let's think about what the diamond position could end up being. Let's see. Sorry, I feel like I'm missing something here. Give me 1 second. Kind of lost my train of thought. We know that they can only have 2 or 3 cards in the minors. If we play down the ace and then play a low one, what we're hoping for is that 2 of the cards that they have in the minors are clubs, and one of them can't be the king of spades. That doesn't seem like the best proposition. Is there something else that we could do? How many points has partner shown up with? We've seen the ace from them. Could they have any other points? Let's take a look at both hands. We can see 13 points in West. We have 5 points in our hand. Let's give East like 10 points for their preempt, like to give them kind of a lot, really. That still leaves points for partner. That still leaves like 7. That still leaves points for on the table for partner, like a lot of points on the table for partner. So we need to find a way to get to their points. The only way that we're going to be able to get something in diamonds is if they have 2 diamonds and only 1 club, and their 2 diamonds don't involve a king. If okay, the big question is, how do we play this club suit? So I think we need to be really careful here, and okay. I know what the conclusion is, but I'm having a hard time explaining how to, like, why the conclusion is correct. We can't let East back in. East can draw out the trumps, cross the West with spades, and discard all of his losers in the minors. Yeah. We need to make sure, like, if we're gonna take our, if we're gonna set this, we need to set it right now. So our question is, like, do we try and set this by taking 2 club tricks, or are we trying to set it in some other way? We can't let West in either for the same reason. North shouldn't have the 2 of spades here. Yeah, okay. That's probably my fault. The book does not have, the book doesn't fill in the spots, so I just put random spots for some of the early tricks, and I didn't think that through. So I wouldn't make a huge inference on that, because that's my doing. We can't afford to let, we have to take our 2 tricks right now. So the only way that it works for us to be able to take 2 club tricks is if we play out our ace of clubs and then play another club trick. The only way that works is if East has 2 clubs and neither of them are the king. So we actually have another option, which is a hope that partner has the king of clubs. If we're hoping to take those 2 club tricks anyways, we're counting on partner to have the king of clubs. So we can play low to partner's king, and then they can give us another spade ruff. We know that East has to have at least 1 more spade. We know that partner has another spade. So if we can get control back over to partner, then they can give us that second ruff, and then we can take our ace of clubs for the win. So, okay, if the spots are random, then underleading the ace of clubs is best. Yes. So East is either 1-1 in the minors with 2 clubs or 2 diamonds. If it's 2 diamonds, there's nothing we can do. If it's 2 clubs, we need to play partner to have the king. And if it's 1, we need partner to have the club king and send back a spade ruff. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Doggin. That is very succinct and pulls up all of our options here that I was floundering on explaining. Underleading is the best because it combines the clubs being 2-2 or the clubs and the spade ruff together. So either way, if East has the king of clubs, we're kind of out of luck. Yeah. So we can guarantee ourselves this contract, assuming that East has at least 1 club, by underleading our club, and then giving partner a chance to get give us a ruff. Okay, that was a little bit of a tricky one. We've got 2 more tricky ones to go. The next ones are problems instead of examples, so I'm going to give people a chance to think them through before actually saying something. Okay, problem 1. We have a long, uninterrupted bidding sequence from the opponents, so partner didn't give us any information. But the opponent sure did, because they made 7 bids between the 2 of them. So the very first thing we should think about is, what do we know about the declarer's hand from the way the bidding proceeded? And then the second question that I want to figure out is, what do we do at trick 2? We played out our ace of clubs at trick 1. Everybody followed. Nothing in particular showed up. So we got to figure out what we're going to be doing at trick 2. I'm going to give everybody a few seconds to think about this, and then we will try it out. Are there 2 4 clubs? Damn it. I'm so bad at this. Okay. Yep. Thanks for sharing. I doubled and triple checked these and still managed to mess it up. Okay. The book, no, I don't think it did. I think it just says they followed low. Let me see. South leads the ace, all follow. Yeah. This is the exact same thing as the last one, where me just randomly filling in the spots is not the most helpful thing. Okay. But I'm going to give everybody another 30 seconds or so to think about this one. No, I don't think you can use spoilers in Twitch chat, but it's like we're gonna be discussing them anyway, so feel free to just like write out the answers. Starn's forgotten the answer. Great, you can think through it again. And nope defends like a nearsighted grandma. Excellent. Okay, we're gonna have to play fast because I've got some obligations that I've got to take care of here. So, okay, let's go ahead and attack this. We're showing up. East is probably at least 5-5 in hearts and diamonds. Yes, 100% agree. East has bid their diamonds twice. They open with the hearts. So we are expecting 10 cards in the reds from East, so that means that they can only have three black cards. They already showed up with one club, so the question is, what are the other two? Are they a club and a spade? Are they both spades? So if we take a look at this, let's see. We've taken one trick. We need to find a way to take 4 tricks total. There's a risk. So I see a vote for playing a low spade because there's a risk of a spade pitch on the king of clubs. Yeah. So that's exactly right. If the clubs are... okay. So if the black cards are split 2-1 and there are 2 spades and only 1 club, then that means if we if we give them if we play back another club, then they can discard one of their if they're split 2-1, then they're going to be able to discard that losing spade on the king of clubs. So the hope here is that we're gonna try and take 2 spade tricks, and then our hearts are really good, and we're gonna go ahead and try and we have 4 hearts, and we're gonna go ahead and hopefully take another one with that. But Noka's saying that there's something better that we can do, other than hoping for East to have 2 quick spade losers. The King of Spades may scare the declarer into roughing high enough to promote a second trump trick. So if you play the King of Spades and then play a low one to partner. Okay. I mean, if we're hoping for partner to have the Ace of Spades anyways, what are we I mean, the only argument against that is if partner doesn't have the Ace of Spades, then we're just giving the whole contract away. If East shows up with the Ace of Spades, and we play out the king like that, there's... we're just kind of boned. Yeah, this loses an extra trick if partner doesn't have the ace. Yeah. So... if the declarer has ace x spade, then it's quotes. Then it's moot. Okay. Okay, let's see. Declarer has ace x spade, then it's quotes. And if declarer has stiff ace and xx club, then it's also moot. It's quotes. Okay. We know that the diamonds are going to play nicely. 5, 3, 3, 2. Okay. And even if East knows the hearts, the best you can do is the 10 of hearts to the queen to capture your jack. But then the 9 is good eventually. Okay, I like it. So it seems like the consensus we're kind of coming to here is that it's better to start with the King of Spades than it is to play the low one. And if we play it like this, then we might be able to give ourselves a chance to develop 2 heart tricks instead of relying on only being able to take 2 spades. Fun. Okay, let's try and speed through this last one, which is probably not going to be possible because it's incredibly complicated and annoying. West has opened up with a weak 1 no bid that's 12 to 14. Partner chimes in with 2 spades, and East says, yeah, enough of that, and just bids 4 hearts. So, we are expecting East to show up with a lot of hearts. They were willing to just say, okay, you've got a balance minimum. Like, I'm guessing East has at least 6 hearts. Then, because it's a weak no trump, we also know that East has a lot of points. They probably have, you know, at least 12 points or something sitting over there. So at trick 1, we go ahead and lead to partner, and we get roughed immediately. Partner showed up with 6 spades. The consensus, okay. You're switching to a low club. Are you saying on this one? Or the last one? Hope it's this one. Yeah, switch to a low club. Yeah, low club at trick 7. Okay, cool. So partner shows up at the 6. Then they go ahead and draw trumps. Partner shows out after 1, so we get confirmation that East is showing up with 6 of them. They go ahead and play the diamonds. Then they play the 10, and we end up taking with our queen. So we have to think to ourselves, what did it mean at trick 6 when opponent played the 10 and let it run around? Well, I think the obvious conclusion here is that they took a finesse, and the queen was on the wrong side. So it seems pretty likely that West is going to be sitting here with the ace of diamonds. So it feels like the diamond situation is pretty locked up. There's not going to be a lot that we can do here. It seems like the spade situation, they can rough all of those. The hearts are all locked up. That really only leaves us one possibility. We need to try and take 3 tricks in the club suit. So there's only really one way to do this. We need to hope that the declarer makes a mistake. So we need to give the declarer a chance to make that mistake. And we need to give partner a chance to show up with the jack of clubs. If we lead a low club through West position, and partner and they play low, if they make a mistake here and play the queen, play the 10 instead of playing the queen, then we'll be able to take a trick from partner, and then hopefully we can take 2 tricks from ourselves, and we can we can set the contract that way. You're saying you like to lead the 8 of clubs, not the low one. You switch attitude here. I'm not sure what that means. Is that to encourage partner to come back to you? I'm not. If you play the 5 of clubs, you like clubs. And you don't want the declarer to know that you like clubs. Got it. So you're trying to be tricky again. Excellent. Okay. Sorry I actually kind of have to call this quits right now. So I'm sorry I had to speed run through the last couple of problems instead of getting to discuss them out the way I'd like to. Partner will know I like clubs when the jack of clubs holds. That's fair. That's fair. So you're trying to give the declarer an extra chance to make that mistake, encouraging them to make that mistake. I like it. Okay. Thank you all. We will be back on Wednesday, hopefully, and we'll be talking about, what's the next one? Safe plays, I think, from the declaring points of view. Thanks, Loppers. Thanks for Stern. Thanks, Nook, Dr. Dogman, Maria. And if you haven't checked it out yet and you want to see the past discussions, almost all of them are up on YouTube. So there's a chance for you to go back and review this stuff if you'd like to find it. Okay. Have a good one, everyone. Talk to you later.